Okay, so there has been a meme going about the internet the last couple of weeks, and people have been asking the question, would 100 men beat one silverback gorilla in a fight to the death? So, in order to answer this question, I thought it'd be quite cool if we tested Google's new Firebase Studio and see if we can build a simulation that can answer this question. So it will basically take different stats of the two types of characters, which would be men versus the silverback gorilla, and then we will face them against each other and see what the outcomes will be. So I've already built this, so let's jump into it and I'll show you how I done it, and we can obviously see what the different outcomes will be in different scenarios inside of the code base. Okay, so here we are in Firebase Studio, and as you can see, this has actually helped me build this simulation here. It took me probably about an hour at least to get it to this sort of stage. It never done it in one prompt, which I do see a lot of people doing, and that could have been just because the prompt was not too detailed. So let me run through a couple of things that we see on here. So the first thing that you see is obviously just this sort of simulation area. You can see I can zoom out and we've got like the platform here. This is where it will spawn in the different characters. Now on the left hand side, we've got the simulation setup. This is where I can put in the amount of characters that I want. So the default has got 5 humans selected with 2 gorillas. And I also thought this would be quite fun to add. I added a drop down where we can equip the human with different weapons. So in this case, it's just got nothing, so unarmed, and it tells you the attack, range, and things like that. You can also see there's a wooden spear option, and then there's a short bow option as well, which has obviously got a higher range, and then the wooden spear's got a bigger range than just unarmed. So there's a few different options we can test here. It's then got a start simulation button and a reset simulation button. I can move this around. I can zoom in and out, which is very cool that it's done this. This never really had to get changed much. It was basically ready to go from the first prompt. Now, how the app works, what I done was I told it when I was prompting it that I wanted each character to have like stats, like a record of stats, things like speed, power, range, also movement speed, different things like that. And I actually did do some research on this to get it right. And I did see that there was a lot of mixed opinions and knowledge in terms of how different a human was to a silverback. The range was between 4 to 10 times the amount of men to one silverback. So, for example, each man, it could be up to 4 to 10 times the power in a silverback, etc. So I did actually just prompt again Google's Gemini Pro to get me this information, and it did give me a list of stats. So I can show you here. We've got the list. We've got the human character, and this has got base attributes. It's got a max health of 100, a movement speed of 5.0, an intelligence of 95, an evasion factor of 80%. And the way that this is built, the simulation, it takes all of this into factor here, which is very, very cool. I did test it multiple times and it wasn't doing what I wanted. So eventually it did actually work where the characters are moving out the way of each other. Instead of just going in a straight line towards each other, they now go in a couple of different directions. They also spawn at different locations on the actual playing field here as well. We've got the combat here for the human. At the moment, it's got wooden spear selected, but when I start this, it will just go to what I've selected over here. The attack power is 18, the range 3, and the cooldown 1.3 seconds. Now, for the gorilla, I went for 10 times the maximum health. So for each one human at 100, the gorilla is 1000 in terms of health. Movement speed 7.5, so it's slightly faster than a human. Intelligence 35, so that's actually lower than a human. And the evasion factor is 50%, which is less than a human as well. Now, the attack power is at 100. Now, this one here's got the spear. For some reason, it's not changing to the unarmed. But if I reset this and start it, we can see that. But it has got an attack power of 100, attack range 2.5, and attack cooldown of 1.2. So it's quite cool to see this as well. Now, in the prompt, like I mentioned, I just told it I was looking to build a simulation where I could see the characters go against each other and give it the attributes that I want to give it. I wanted it on a 3D plane, and I also wanted to change the amount of characters for both humans and gorillas and give it weapons as well as an option. So I won't bore you with reading all of this because it's very long. I did use Google's Gemini to help me build this out very quickly. So you see, it did give me the initial blueprint, which it has changed a lot since then. It gave me these colors. I never liked this. It did give me the features, typography, etc. And then it started to build this out. So at start, it never let me put 100 humans in. So I fixed that, fixed a few errors. And then what I done was I gave it an updated amount here for the stats. And this was, again, done through research on Gemini. Just basically was asking it what is the equivalent of a gorilla to how many humans, for example. What's the difference? And what would be a multiplier to add. So it did give me different things here, and I used that and I put it into the code. It just done it itself. I just gave the prompt and then away it went. I also did try and do something quite funny, but I couldn't get it to work. I tried to get it to use Conor McGregor and then a gorilla against each other, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work. It would have been cool. I probably could get this to work if I actually went into the code base, but I was wasting too much time on it. You can see I did try this quite a lot, but for some reason it wasn't working. And then lastly, once I tried this, what I wanted to do was just show like a health bar above each one of the characters on the simulation. And it done that perfectly. So let's get to the main question then. How is this going to work and how is it going to react? So let's actually start with half of the amount. So we'll go with 50 against one gorilla. And I will make it unarmed. And let's see how this simulation works. So if I click start simulation, you'll see that it makes them. And now I can see the blue dots are the humans and the green is the gorilla. They've all got a health bar above them. It might be hard to see. But when they turn red, it basically means they have died. And all these stats are basically tracking live. If I can keep the camera good here, I'm not very good. And we've got 50. I can also show you on the right-hand side here, we can see like the current health points of each and if they've been defeated. So that's quite cool. It done this on its own again. I never asked for this, but it just listed it. So let's have a look what the gorilla is currently at. The gorilla is currently at 989 health points. And it seems to be handling 50 humans quite well at the moment. So let's see. Now, one thing I did notice, which I don't really like, is they all do end up lining up. Now, I think this is something to do with the speed settings, but it would be good if they could maybe like try something tactical, like coming in from the sides or something like that. But right now, they just end up in this sort of chain where the gorilla will kill them off slowly one by one. And it looks like this is just going to be the case. So I don't want to bore you with this one, but it definitely looks like the gorilla is going to win here. So I'm just going to stop this one. Let's reset. And let's go a little bit heavier now. So let's try 100 humans against one gorilla. And we'll start the simulation here again. So let's go. Now you can see there's a lot more, which is cool. Does move a little bit slower on the computer, but what I would really like is if they were like coming to the sides and stuff. But again, for some reason, they all focus in and just come direct. Let me go to the gorilla's health points. You can see the gorilla still doesn't look like it's been hurt. That's probably because its defense is up as part of the stats. Oh, and it looks like now the gorilla has been cornered. So it feels like the gorilla might actually lose here. Yep, the health points are going down fast now. So obviously, if this was the real case and the humans were jumping on it, the gorilla would be probably swinging. It looks like the gorilla has not got long left. It's got 23% health, so it's actually getting quite close here. Okay, so we're back in a corner here. Maybe this will be the end for the gorilla if these humans start catching it here. As the humans pile up, they can get more hits into the gorilla. It's 205 on HP, 198, 183. More humans are getting closer. 1, 3, 4. They're basically cornering it, which is quite interesting because this would probably be the case in real life as well. And there you go. The simulation is over. You can see at the top here, the humans won. So that was quite cool. That would actually most likely be the case. Like the humans would be chasing it if the gorilla actually wanted to run. Obviously, nothing scientific here. As I keep repeating, the main thing is just to show you how good Firebase Studio is at building something like this. So I'll just show you one more here, and we'll maybe go a bit crazy. So let's try the short bow, because this has got a range, and then we will give it one gorilla. Well, let's give it 2 because the gorillas lost the last time. So 2 gorillas versus 100 humans. So we'll see what this looks like now. So let's start this. Okay, so you can see we've got 100. You can see the way they move now because the range is a lot bigger. So they're basically surrounding the gorillas. It's quite cool. You see the gorillas have already already lost, and the humans have won. That was very quick. So why don't we try giving it a bit more gorillas? Let's go for 15. One last one. Again, they're just moving around the gorillas because they've got that range. We can see the stats here. You can see the gorillas are basically losing health quite quickly. They can get close to the humans. So when humans have got weapons, it just seems like a unfair advantage. The red, again, is when the humans are basically getting killed by the gorillas. It's quite cool, the way this simulation works here. Let's just see what the outcome of this will be. This seems a bit fairer, in my opinion. Maybe just because the humans can only aim at one thing at a time. The gorillas do seem to be losing health, though, a lot faster than just one. And this seems a lot more mushed up compared to like the previous one where they were basically just going in a line, chasing the one gorilla. It seems more like an actual battlefield here, actually. Uh, okay, so the gorillas did win this time. As you can see, the gorillas win, simulation over. So that's basically it for this video. I thought this would be quite cool because this is kind of a trending topic. This was just a bit of fun. Again, nothing basically scientific here, just to show you how cool Firebase Studio is. Something like this would have probably taken me weeks to get like this, I would say. I know it's not 100%, but it still works, and it's quite fun actually. You can add more features, you can change the maps up, even add more weapons and things like that. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.